It's the cartoon every kid grew up with, but if you look closely, Peppa Pig is less perfect playtime and more of a blooper reel in disguise. 1. Zoe the Teleporter. In the episode Hoops, something truly bizarre happens. At first, Zoe Zebra is nowhere in the classroom. The kids rush to grab Hoops, and suddenly, there she is, like she just teleported in from another dimension. Nobody notices, not even Madame Gazelle. Then, just as quickly as she arrived, Zoe disappears again. 1 second, she's happily twirling a hoop, the next, she's gone without a trace. It feels less like a children's cartoon, and more like a glitch in the Peppa Pig universe. Maybe Zoe has unlocked secret teleportation powers, or maybe the animators just forgot she existed. 2. Candy Cat's evil twin. In Dr. Hamster's Tortoise, Candy Cat manages to break the laws of space and time. At first, she's clearly sitting inside the classroom, listening along with the others. Everything seems normal until the fire truck rushes off to rescue Dr. Hamster's runaway tortoise. Look closely at the passing car. Somehow, Candy Cat is sitting inside it too. 2 candies at once, one in school, one cruising around town. Did she sneak out faster than the fire truck itself? Or are we witnessing a Candy Cat clone casually living among the group? Either way, someone needs to explain this unsettling double life. 3. The Endless Dinosaur Trick. In Cardboard Hospital, Peppa shows off some dinosaur drawings, and the scene quickly spirals into nonsense. First, she pulls out a sheet with a blue dinosaur and tucks it back. Then, she fishes out another with a green dinosaur. But here's where things get strange. Without touching the bottom sheet, she suddenly reveals a purple dinosaur that she never even picked up. It's like the paper stack turned into a magic deck of cards. Either Peppa has mastered sleight of hand worthy of a Las Vegas stage, or the animators forgot how paper actually works. 4. The gate that ignored physics. In Safety. First, Daddy Pig shows off the new baby-proofing gate, but the scene turns into something out of a ghost story. As he swings it open, the gate does not stop at Peppa and George. Instead, it glides right through their faces without a pause, as if the kids are made of air. For a few seconds, Peppa and George look less like cartoon pigs and more like spooky spirits who cannot touch solid objects. The moment is creepy and funny at the same time, giving the house an unplanned haunted vibe, while Daddy Pig carries on completely unaware. 5. Bubble Wrap Mission Impossible. In the same episode, Peppa and George decide to baby-proof the house, and somehow they manage to bubble wrap everything. Chairs, tables, sharp corners, you name it. But then the camera pans up, and there it is. The ceiling lamp is completely wrapped too. Think about that for a second. 2 tiny piglets, barely tall enough to reach the counter, manage to climb up and wrap a hanging light fixture like professional electricians. There's no ladder in sight, and Daddy Pig is nowhere around. Either they've been hiding superhero climbing skills, or someone skipped logic entirely. The result looks both funny and cursed. 6. The Expanding Kitchen. In recycling, Mummy Pig proudly shows off the recycling bins, and at first glance, everything looks fine. But then, you notice the impossible detail. The bins are neatly placed right beside the fridge, in a space that should not even exist. In every other episode, that fridge is pressed tight against the wall with no gap whatsoever. Somehow, for this one scene, the kitchen magically stretched itself to make room. Did the house expand overnight? Did the fridge learn how to slide sideways on its own? Whatever happened here, it turns the Pig family's kitchen into a shifting, living puzzle. 7. The Wandering Tool Basket. In Grandpa Pig's computer, a simple repair turns into a strange little mystery. Grandpa Pig heads to his shed to fix a broken clock, and right behind it sits a tidy tool basket. It looks normal enough until the next shot, when the basket suddenly disappears without explanation. Seconds later, as if nothing happened, the basket returns to its original spot. No one touched it, and nothing in the scene accounts for the jump. Either Grandpa Pig owns a basket with teleporting powers, or the animators decided to give his tools a mind of their own. 8. The Disappearing Mail Slot. In the toy cupboard, even the front door cannot escape the chaos. At first, everything looks perfectly ordinary. There is a letter slot right in the middle of the door, exactly where it should be. But the second Mr. Zebra opens it, the slot vanishes completely. One moment it's there, and the next it's gone, leaving the door looking strangely bare. No mail, no flap, no explanation. Did Mr. Zebra accidentally steal it along with the post? Or did the animators simply forget it existed? 9. The Vanishing Ball. In The Baby Piggy, a small toy creates one of the strangest slip-ups. George sits beside baby Alexander, and right next to them is a bright ball. It's clearly visible on the floor, resting close by. But the next shot makes no sense at all. The ball has completely disappeared, as if it never existed. Nobody picks it up, and it does not roll away. It just blinks out of reality. The scene feels almost creepy, like the ball was erased by some invisible force. Unless baby Alexander secretly devoured it, this mistake remains an unexplained little mystery. 10. The Chameleon Book. In the library, Susie Sheep proves that even books can't stay consistent in Peppa's world. When she first checks one out, it's clearly green. She holds it proudly, and nothing looks unusual. But by the end of the episode, the exact same book has turned orange. There's no swapping, no trade, no explanation. It simply shifts colors in the middle of the story like a mood ring. Did the library install magical color-changing covers to keep things interesting? Or did the animators lose track of their palette? Either way, Susie ends up with a book that refuses to pick a shade. 11. The Bottomless Jug. In Please and Thank You, Mummy Pig casually breaks the rules of reality while serving breakfast. She lifts the jug of juice, which is filled almost to the brim, and pours a good amount into Peppa's glass. Naturally, the juice level drops. But the very next shot makes no sense at all. The jug is magically full again, as if it refilled itself while nobody was watching. Nobody touches it, and no one adds more juice. It simply resets like a video game glitch. Either Mummy Pig owns a self-refilling jug, or the animators gave her secret brunch superpowers. 12. The Infinite Seed Box. In Grandpa's garden, Grandpa Pig's lesson on planting flowers quickly turns into a physics nightmare. His seed box starts out full, stuffed to the brim. He tips it, and instead of spilling everywhere, only a single seed drops. Then, the box suddenly looks half empty. A second later, it's full again, as though nothing had been used. The seeds seem to multiply at will, breaking every law of gravity and common sense. 13. The Christmas Cat Glitch. In Mr. Potato's Christmas show, the spotlight should be on the stage, but the real show is happening in the audience. A brown cat is first seen sitting right in front of Peppa. Everything looks fine until the camera cuts again, and suddenly, that same cat has leapt all the way to the front row. Moments later, the cat is back in front of Peppa like nothing happened. Back and forth it goes, switching rows with every shot. It feels less like a school play and more like a glitching video game character speedrunning through the theater seats. 14. George's Cursed Ice Cream. In Very Hot Day, the family cools off with ice cream, but George ends up with the short straw. The second he gets his cone, it begins to melt at lightning speed, dripping away before he can even take a bite. Meanwhile, everyone else's ice cream looks perfect, sitting there in the blazing sun like plastic models. No drips, no mess, not even a shine. George is left holding a sad puddle on a stick, while Peppa and the others eat happily. The scene feels unfair, almost cruel, as if George was singled out for desert sabotage by the animators. 15. Mummy Pig's Flying Wardrobe. In Canyon Country, the adventure begins with the family boarding Miss Rabbit's helicopter. Everything looks fine until you glance at Mummy Pig's feet. She's clearly wearing blue boots as she climbs aboard. But once the helicopter lands and she steps down the ladder, those same boots have turned bright purple. The change happens mid-air, with no time for a wardrobe swap. Unless she carries an emergency paint kit in her handbag, this is pure animation chaos. The scene makes it look like her shoes updated themselves during the flight, as if the helicopter came with an automatic fashion upgrade. 16. The Haunted Orchard. In Bouncy Ball, the kids play football near 4 fruit trees that look perfectly normal at first. Each tree is loaded with bright fruit, hanging heavy on the branches. Then the game begins, and in the very next shot, every single piece of fruit is gone. The trees stand completely bare, as if someone harvested them in seconds. Later, when Rebecca Rabbit scores a goal, the fruit magically reappears in full. No wind, no animals, no explanation. It feels less like gardening and more like a haunting. 17. Zoe's Holiday Double. In Santa's Grotto, the fairground is buzzing with decorations, music, and children waiting to see Santa. Among the crowd stands Zoe Zebra, with her mother, dressed as usual and blending in perfectly. Nothing strange yet, until the camera cuts to the Ferris wheel. Sitting in one of the cars are Zoe and her mother again, wearing the exact same outfits. 2 sets of the same characters appear at once, one on the ground and one floating in the air. Unless the zebras have identical twins nobody mentioned, This is a clear duplication glitch. 18. Peppa the Stretch Monster. In the toy cupboard, Peppa tries to help George build by handing him the cupboard's legs. It sounds simple, but the scene takes a very strange turn. As she reaches forward, her arms do not come from her shoulders like normal. Instead, they appear to stretch straight out of her chin. For a brief moment, Peppa looks less like a piglet and more like a creature from a horror cartoon. Her limbs extend in the most unnatural way, turning a cute moment into nightmare fuel. 19. The fake family photo. In Lava, Peppa decides to take a picture of Mummy and Daddy Pig. She lines them up neatly against a yellow wall with a calendar behind them. Everything about the setup is plain and ordinary. But when she prints the photo, the background has completely changed. The wall is no longer yellow, it's green, and the calendar is missing. The family photo looks like it was edited with bad Photoshop skills, swapping the backdrop without warning. Either someone redecorated the house in the 2 seconds it took to press print, or the printer secretly moonlights as a budget photo editing machine. 20. The Drifting Moon. In Princess Peppa, Grandma Pig enters Peppa's room, and right away, something feels off. The moon glows through the window, sitting neatly in the left panel. A second later, after she steps on a toy duck, the moon has moved. Without warning, it's shining from the right panel instead, as if it drifted across the sky in a matter of seconds. But the strangeness does not stop there. When Grandma Pig settles into a chair, the moon shifts back to its original position like nothing happened. The whole scene looks less like nightfall and more like a stage set being shuffled around. The sky behaves like a clumsy crew member, dragging the moon wherever it feels like. 21. The Case of the Missing Cushions. In movie night, Peppa and her friends gather to watch a film at Penny Polar Bear's house. The living room sofa is neatly arranged with 3 cushions, each one in plain view. But when the parents set up the projector, the cushions suddenly disappear, leaving the sofa completely bare. Seconds later, when the kids sit down, the cushions are back again, now acting as seats for Rebecca, Susie, and Gerald. They vanish and reappear without reason, like they are playing hide and seek. The whole thing feels less like a cozy movie night and more like a furniture store magic trick. 22. The Broken Neck Scene. In Muddy Puddle, the episode takes a dark and funny turn without warning. George hops off his little chair, and the animation slips for just a second. His neck separates from his body, leaving his head floating in midair like a balloon. The body stands there headless, while the head drifts in place before snapping back where it belongs. The mistake happens quickly, but once you see it, you cannot unsee it. For a moment, Peppa Pig stops being a cheerful cartoon and turns into a horror short where characters can lose body parts with no pain at all. 23. The Rebellious Door. In Sleepover, Peppa arrives at Zoe Zebra's house for the night, and the very first thing we see is the front door swinging open. At first, it opens outward, the way you would expect, but in the very next shot, the same door has changed its mind and now opens inward, as if the hinges swapped sides while nobody was looking. The sudden shift makes the house feel alive, constantly redesigning itself to confuse visitors. Instead of a normal front door, it comes across like a cheap, revolving door that cannot decide which direction it prefers to move. 24. The Glass Escape. In Super Potato, a dramatic rescue quickly turns ridiculous. Mr. Potato is trapped inside a car with a glass roof, and the situation looks serious. Super Potato swoops in and begins lifting the glass panel to free him. But before the roof is even removed, Mr. Potato somehow slides right out of the car. He passes straight through solid glass as if it were made of air. The rescue turns from heroic to absurd in seconds. Instead of showing super strength, the scene makes it look like Mr. Potato has ghost powers and never needed help at all. 25. Peppa on Ice. In Lunch, Grandma Pig is busy preparing a meal while Peppa and George watch from the side. Everything looks calm until Peppa suddenly starts gliding across the kitchen floor. She does not move her legs or take a single step. Instead, her entire body shifts closer to George as if the floor has turned into an invisible ice rink. The moment is so quick that it almost goes unnoticed, but once spotted, it looks hilarious. Peppa appears less like a child standing in the kitchen and more like a character rehearsing for a skating routine inside Grandma's house. And that's the end of our tour through Peppa Pig's funniest slip-ups. From teleporting cats to haunted orchards, these mistakes make the show even stranger. But here's the real question. Do these errors ruin the magic or make Peppa Pig secretly better? Drop your take in the comments and let's argue it out.